welcome back to my channel. So thank you to everybody that watched the last video. I told you guys I'm gonna be coming back with more content. I'm gonna try and come back every week until, you know, I grow a following, my YouTube family, and then I'll up my videos. But until then, I'll try and come and talk to you guys once a week. So this week I want to talk to you guys, obviously, as you can see by the title, about fertility. And I just want to kind of give some encouragement and like share a little bit deeper about my story. We started our fertility journey in November of 2018. And I remember I had everything planned out. I'm such a planner. Like, okay, we're going to get pregnant by Thanksgiving. And then by Christmas, we'll be able to announce it to our family. Like, I just had everything planned out, like when the baby was supposed to be due in 2019. And I remember when the IUI didn't take, I was devastated, like absolutely devastated. And it's just such an emotional journey. So if I start crying, I don't know, since I've had the baby, I'm just kind of like a crybaby. But it's just hard because you go through life, and I was 26 when we started, or I was almost 25. And I remember just like in my mid-20s, I'm finally married, we have a house now, like I kind of got some of my stuff together. And it's just like, okay, why am I not getting pregnant? And I talked about it in a previous video, because you're like, you know, people younger than me, like kids, are getting pregnant, and like I'm not getting pregnant. Like, what's wrong? Is it something with me? And as women, I think we just internalize every little thing about ourselves. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, am I not good enough? And then I started thinking, like, you know, am I competent to carry a child? Like, and my wife like wants a baby as well. What if I'm not able to give her a child? Like, will she divorce me or leave me? Or, you know, you just think about the worst things. And I always wanted to be a mom since I was a young girl. I knew I wanted to be a great wife and a great mom as much as I could be. And so I remember we did the first one in November, didn't take. And then we did the second one in February of 2019, and it did not take. And so it was difficult. The second one, I was just like crying all the time. And I said before, like, I had friends or people on social media and like celebrities getting pregnant. And I was just like, you know, I can't get pregnant. So like, I was mad with myself, because I'm like, something you're doing, like maybe it's your eating habits, like your health habits, like you're not able to carry a baby. Like, what's wrong with your body? Like, I'm just like beating myself up. I'm stressing about it. I'm crying. I was seeing people like have kids, and I'm just crying because like I'm happy for them, genuinely. But then I'm sad for me and my wife because I can't give her a baby. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what if God doesn't have it in the plans for me to be a mom? Like, I never thought about my life without being a mom. So I'm like, what does that look like? Is it just like us traveling? And like, you know, I just didn't imagine that for myself. So to women out there that are going through that, you know that it's nothing that you're doing wrong. And literally sometimes it is just timing. Like something like all my tests, the first 2 IUIs that we did, all my test levels came back beyond exceptional. Like, the doctors were like, I don't know why you're not getting pregnant. Like, your levels are great, you're doing great, like every single thing. And like, when you're a same-sex couple and you're going through a fertility clinic, you get tested extensively. So like, they make sure you don't have any STDs, or they're checking your blood, their urine. It's so extensive. And they were like, everything is clear, you're good to go. Like, your levels are beyond, like, if it was, let's say, level 1, I had like a level like 5 or 6. They were like, I'm not sure why. And we used 2 different donors as well from the first and second one. And so we were like, oh my gosh. And they had like a great sperm count. So I'm just like, their sperm count is great, my eggs are great, like my levels are great. Like, what, I was distraught to the point where my wife was like, at this point, babe, like, I love you, but you need to go get counseling. And like, I was talking to her, like, we're trying to work through it. And it was just something like that I literally had to pray through. She had to pray with me, and I had to go to counseling because I was not taking it well. And so you have to know that timing is everything. I know that is the most cliche thing to hear, or like, when it's your time, it's your time. granted, people don't live inside your body, so they don't live inside your body or your head. So when you're beating yourself up, they have no clue, like, you know, what you're going through sometimes, to a point, because it could be something different with your body. You know, you may have had an STD that affected your body, or a pre-existing condition or something like that that could be affecting your body, so they don't know. But it is so true that when it is your time, it is your time. Because after having Nala, we watched, Olivia and I, on the OWN network, a series called Black Love, and there was a beautiful couple that detailed their experience. She had a great pregnancy and everything went great. Everything went great all the way up until delivery, and they had her nursery done. There was a daughter, and it was just heartbreaking because they wound up losing their baby during childbirth. And I mean, when I watched their story, it was bone chilling for me and heartbreaking, because the excitement around when you find out you're pregnant and you are expecting and preparing for that baby, getting their nursery ready, their toys, clothes, like, you know, the scent of baby stuff, all the memories that you think you're gonna have with that child to be flushed down the drain. And then not only on top of it, your body changes, the hormones, everything you go through, only to lose your child. Also, I think about, like, when I talk to women or read stories about, like, miscarriage, like my first two, I'm so grateful that they just didn't take, instead of me having a miscarriage, because it is, like, I can't even imagine, like, carrying a child for so many weeks and then you go and there's no heartbeat, or, you know, you have to deliver them stillborn. That is so traumatic. I know women that have gone through it, family members, and it is, what I've been told, the most traumatic thing. And I cannot stomach to think that feel that pain. So, you know, if it's not happening for you, keep trying. But my biggest thing I also recommend is pray about it. And if you need to, go see a counselor or talk to your pastor or whomever, or just support groups around you. Like, I'm learning, like, on my social media, like, if somebody else is going through something, like, just reach out to people on your social media, or be supportive, show support, because some people don't have, like, support systems at home. I'm so thankful that my wife is such a great support system, and people in my life, close family members and parents and things like that. But some people don't have that, and so when they're talking about things on Facebook or something like that, sometimes they want to just help people, but also sometimes they need support. And it's so important to just try and support them. Reach out, like, DM them if they're going through something, or you see, like, a pattern of something, reach out, because it's a little awkward. Like, I sometimes struggle with that, because I'm like, I want to say something, and it's such an awkward thing nowadays, because you're like, girl, like, I see what you're posting, or even God, like, I see what you're posting, like, I want to be friends, but it's so awkward to, like, hey, do you want to be friends? You know what I mean? So it's really difficult nowadays, but offering support is the best thing that you can do to somebody. And it is so hard when, like, you get married or you're in, like, a serious relationship and everybody's like, all right, so when you having that baby, when's that baby? Okay, you're how old? You're over 25? Oh, you're over 30? You're almost 40? Like, when are you having that baby? That is so hard to hear, because there's some women that have been trying for years. I know there's a blogger and YouTuber, of influencer, that her and her husband were trying for years, and she had a rough journey and is finally pregnant. And it's so hard to hear that, because you're like, you don't think I want the baby as bad as y'all? Like, I know y'all want grandkids or whatever family, but, like, I want it myself. So imagine, like, me not being able to give it at this moment. Like, it's hard to hear. So try to, I think it's best to try and practice awareness and not pressure somebody to have the baby, because I know in my communities, it's so quick. Like, as soon as you get engaged, you're like, okay, when do you get married? You get married when you have that baby. It is so, like, rush. Like, you better have that baby before 30, you better have that baby before 40, like, you know. And it's just like, there are women out here that are getting pregnant at 40, 50, healthy babies. And I never realized until I was pregnant, and even after I had the baby, my daughter, that it is a miracle and nothing but God to bring you through, carry the baby for 9-10 months, then you make it through delivery healthy, alive, and heal well, and your baby do the same. Because there are so many women, like when we were in the hospital just talking to our nurses and seeing different things on pregnancy and delivery, it is literally one of the closest things to death that you can go through. Your body is experiencing all different types of pain, stretching, cutting, healing, and then for your baby to come out healthy and alive is a blessing. I can't tell you how many women that have suffered miscarriages, stillborn, or losing their child and not being able to bring that baby home, that wish that they could. It is literally the whole time you are pregnant. And during my pregnancy, I just remember every single day, even before I was pregnant, I prayed for our daughter. And during, still the same. And through my labor, but every single day I ask God to keep me, keep our child safe, keep her breathing. Every single day I remember just like, I hope she's okay. Like when especially when I got to the point where she was kicking, if I didn't feel a kick, I would get so nervous, because I'm like, God, this is everything I've prayed for. Like, please don't take her from me. It is literally a blessing, because pregnancy and carrying a child is a hard thing. I am so fortunate to have had such an amazing pregnancy and a baby. She is such a good child. I cannot be more grateful. But everybody doesn't have that experience. So if you have had a child and they are healthy and alive and breathing, you are blessed. So continue to pray for those moms or dads or families that are trying to have a baby, for couples. It could tear you apart if you don't have a solid foundation or you don't have God in the middle. But I encourage you to get help, whatever that may be, and to pray about it, and to know that when it is your time. Because being a parent, and especially for the moms out there, it's hard as I don't know what. And then if you're married, you have to try and adjust to all of your body changes. You have to heal from having the baby. If you have a C-section, I don't even know what that's like. Healing vaginally was enough. So you're having to heal. Then you're having to still be a wife, still be a mom, and then be a mom. You're trying to learn your child. And then for me, I just had so many like frustrations with the breastfeeding journey. I will talk about that in the next video, because I'm going to be doing a video on postpartum depression, or baby blues as they call it. And it's a lot to try and adjust. It's small things that like you don't even think about, that you're like, okay, before, if you're just hungry and want to go to Taco Bell, you just get up and go. Like as a parent now, like you don't. Like if you have a support system or somebody with you, like for me, like I could have Olivia stay with the baby and go run, but like if she's not home and like I just craving something, I just can't get up and go. Like I have to now get the diaper back. I have to make sure that our daughter is fully dressed and in her car seat. I have to, if she's like kind of cranky and she's tired, I have to kind of calm her down until we can go. It's a lifestyle change. But when you have I'm thankful that we have such a good baby. Like she be ready to go in the car. Like, all right, Nala, like we finna go. You put in her car seat. She may be a little cranky when the car gets running. Most babies I've heard, when the car starts driving, they kind of go to sleep. You put on some music for her and she's good to go. But it's just, you don't think about all the lifestyle changes that you have to make when you have a child. It's not just about you or your partner or spouse anymore. It is your family unit at that point. So trying to solidify your new family, because now you have a family of your own. It can be a lot. So everything is about timing, because you have to think, and I thank God that the first two didn't work. In hindsight, hindsight is 20/20, because if the first two would have worked, I wouldn't have Nala. And when I tell you guys, she is the light of my life. The light of my life. When I think about my daughter, she is just everything. I get all the time, she is my spitting image, and I'm starting to see it. But she acts so much like Liv. It's crazy. Like, she's not Olivia's biologically, but you wouldn't tell, because she has so many mannerisms of Olivia's. It's crazy. And their bond is just heartwarming and melting. And the first two, it wouldn't have been her. You know, our baby would have looked different, because the donors weren't the same. I don't know, like, I'm so grateful they didn't work, because I have the light of my life with the love of my life. And it makes you also so much more appreciative, because you're like, this is what I prayed for. Like, God answered my prayers. Like, every day I look at her and I'm like, you are an answered prayer, like living proof that God works. And you look and say, I'm so blessed because I was able to bring you into this world, and God hold my hand to make sure you're alive and well. And you have to think about, like, you know, what if you're not getting pregnant for a reason? Like, God may want you to pursue something else. He may have something else for you to do before you get pregnant. I seriously believe that God did not allow our pregnancies first two to work because we had not gone on our honeymoon. We got married in June of 2018, but we had bought a house. I had just started work, so I didn't have the vacation time to go on a honeymoon. And we were trying to become debt free as well. So we decided in a year we'll go on our honeymoon. So last year, last June, we went to Thailand and Shanghai, China. And had I been pregnant, and with our first or second IUI would have worked, I would have been nicely pregnant, and I wouldn't have been able to do half of the things on our honeymoon that we did. So literally, we went to Thailand. I will post a picture, even though Nala's name is spelled differently. And we wrote our son and daughter's name in the sand. Our son's name, excuse me, has since changed, but we literally wrote their name in the sand. And I think we wrote this year. And literally, we came back from Thailand from our honeymoon. We were completely invigorated, just reconnected on such a different level. We said certain prayers on the beach there and left them there, and literally said, like, we're gonna go back, we're gonna try again. God, if it's for us, it's for us. If it's not, it's not. We're gonna keep trying and we won't give up. But we said certain prayers that I'll keep between Olivia and I, and had certain conversations on our honeymoon, and I literally let it go. Like, all that stress, like trying to force my body and just stressing and worrying, like, why am I not getting pregnant? I left it all there in Thailand. And literally, we came back from our honeymoon, and 2 to 3 weeks later, we were pregnant. And I can't tell y'all how amazing God is and how He works. It's a hard journey, but it is so worth it when you have that baby. And I'm going to be talking in my next video about postpartum depression, because it's so real. When you have a baby, everybody doesn't experience it, but so many women do. I haven't met a woman that said they didn't, to some extent, whether it's on the low end of the spectrum or the high end, but I have never met a woman that said they did not. And so you have to be prepared and know, like, when you have a baby, and I'm going to close this out because I can go on and on. It is expensive. It's, I don't know what, because they're constantly growing, changing. We wanted to try and give our daughter the best things that we could, so it's not cheap. And so you have to realize there's finances involved. Like, can you really afford to have a baby and give them the best lifestyle that you want them to have? Are you ready to go through postpartum depression and all the changes that it does to your body and your mental health? Can you afford daycare? I am so grateful that COVID happened only for the fact that it allowed me to be home with my daughter. She'll be 9 months this month, and we have not had to put her in daycare, and I am so grateful to God for that, because I was having serious like issues, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put her in daycare at 6 months, and COVID happened. I am so devastated at the effects of COVID and how people have lost their loved ones. But for my family, we have not lacked anything, and I have been able to be here with my child every single day, day in and day out. I have not been away from my child for more than a few hours if I'm running errands. And when I am away from her, I am like, oh my gosh, I gotta get back to my daughter. Like, what is she doing? Like, I miss her. Like, I have serious separation issues with the baby, and when it is time to put her in daycare, I'm gonna have a problem. And so there are so many factors that you have to think about before you become a parent, and really look at your situation and ask yourself, like, am I ready to be committed to somebody for the rest of my life? Like, as a mom, you get no days off. Like, I remember last week, I was like, I am so tired. Like, I'm trying to film. I have something going on the side that I'm not going to talk about yet, because I just wanted to speak for itself. But I am making a important decision for a different career path that I'm exploring, and doing that, and trying to be a wife and a mom. I'm still trying to decorate our home. It is a lot going on. Then COVID. And so I remember I was like, I'm so tired, like, I just need a break. And Nala's like sitting next to me, and I have like my arms around her, like cocooning her, and I'm like falling asleep, and she's not. I'm like, come on, Nala, let's take a nap. So I put her on my chest and trying to have a nap, and she was not wanting to take a nap. And I'm like, girl, I'm tired. But I had to snap myself out of it and say, you need to get up right now. Your daughter wants to play. She doesn't want to sleep. You don't get the luxury to sleep right now. And Olivia was at home. But if you have a great support system, which I will talk about in the next video, it really helps. But yeah, I just want to give encouraging words and really try and like just have you think about it a little bit deeper, because like babies are so cute, they're so loving, they're everything, like they're everything. But it is not a joke, and you are responsible for them for the rest of their life. Being a parent is not something you should take lightly, and if you do, shame on you. And I love you guys so much. If you have any questions about postpartum or want to know anything, reach out to me, comment below, or message me on my social media pages or whatever. But I'm excited to talk about that journey, because the postpartum process, because it is just crazy. But I love you guys. Thank y'all.